Alright, bro. So I've been seeing these signs of low IQ videos all over, and I just want to see if it's real legit or just a reach. The internet do be reaching some shit sometimes, bro. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Magical thinking. Some people live their lives as if luck is running the show. They wear the same lucky socks to every test, avoid walking under ladders, or believe a certain color brings them money.
I will never ever walk under a ladder. I always step over cracks, and me and the homies, we never split a pole. I don't know why. It's just something we never do, you know?
It feels harmless,
Yeah.
even kind of funny, but it's actually a sign of low critical thinking. Instead of looking at real cause
Damn. That's how we gonna start? Like, damn, they gonna come for me like that?
and effect, magical thinking relies on superstition. Psychologists say this comes from the brain confusing coincidence with patterns. Maybe once you wore those socks and something good happened, and now your brain links the two forever. Smarter minds pause
Damn, that is crazy. That makes a lot of sense.
and ask, what's the actual evidence here? Lower intelligence skips that step and builds habits out of pure.
Whoa, 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 whoa. I'm just special sometimes. My mom says I'm special.
Depending on charms and hunches to guide your choices might make life feel easier, but it also means you're not really using logic. In the end, the universe isn't rigged to your sock choices. Chronic sleep neglect. You tell yourself you're fine on 4 hours of sleep. Maybe you brag about it. Maybe you scroll on your phone until 3 a.m. and then crawl out of bed like a zombie. Skipping sleep doesn't make you tough, it makes you slower.
Mm.
Research shows that lack of sleep damages memory, attention, and decision making. In fact, after a night without rest, your brain works about as well as if you were drunk. Smarter people know their brain.
That is actually crazy. What's considered like a fair amount of hours of sleep? Like what, 6 to 8, 5 to 8? Because I swear, off of 4 hours of sleep, 3 hours of sleep, I'm up, I'm good.
Avoiding time alone. Some people just cannot stand silence. If the TV isn't on, the music's not playing, or friends aren't around,
Gee, I never understood this. I never understood this. I like spending time alone. I like that stuff. So I don't really understand how some people don't.
they start to panic. Being alone with their own thoughts feels unbearable, so they constantly fill the space with noise and distractions. The
Oh,
problem? That habit can signal low intelligence. If you can't sit with yourself for even a few minutes without reaching for a screen or calling someone, it's not because you're social. It might just mean your brain struggles when it's finally asked to do the heavy lifting. Though this has been heavily skewed in recent years due to people's ability to fill every silence with their phones. Living on small talk. Some people can talk for hours without saying anything. It's always about the weather, the traffic, or what they had for lunch.
I kind of feel like this one's a reach. Honestly, I feel like some people just aren't as social. So just like having small talk or living on small talk is just their way of trying to connect with someone on that level they don't know how to. I don't know.
Sure, a little small talk is normal, but if that's the only conversation you ever have, it can be a red flag. If your best line at a party is, wow, can you believe it's already Friday? And you have nothing else to add, you're just filling silence. Smart people see small talk as a door. Confidence without content.
That's actually real.
You've probably met someone
That made a lot of sense.
who talks like they're the smartest person in the room. But the moment you listen closely, there's nothing there. They speak loudly, interrupt others, and explain things they don't actually understand. This is a classic sign of low intelligence. Real smart people ask questions, admit when they don't know something, and try to learn.
Yeah, true. Cause like always when I was in school, that would always be a thing that I did. I'm not saying that I haven't high, yeah, 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 yeah. I'm not saying that I have a high IQ. I'm saying I would rather be a fool for asking those questions within that 5 seconds than being a fool for the rest of that class. You know, I would raise my hand if I really don't understand something.
Lower intelligence often hides behind confidence, using tone and volume instead of substance. Psychologists call this the Dunning-Kruger effect. People who know the least often think they know the most, blindly following instructions. Some people will do exactly what the manual says, even when it makes no sense. If the IKEA guide shows a screw going into thin air, they'll still try to force it. If a recipe says bake for 20 minutes, but the food is clearly raw, they'll eat it anyway. This isn't discipline. It's a lack of
Are there really people like that out there? Like I would dead ass want to meet someone who would do some shit like that. That's crazy.
critical thinking. Smarter minds test, adapt, and improvise when things don't add up. For conspiracies and superstitions. Some people truly believe the Earth is flat, vaccines have microchips, or that their bad day happened because of a planet's position in the sky.
I disagree with that. I believe that there's a difference in just following everything you see and actually questioning yourself. I actually believe that's a sign of, having a high sense of having a high IQ.
This isn't open-mindedness. It's low critical.
Now, there is some theories out there that are like far-fetched, like bro, that shit sound crazy. Like I'm not listening to that. And there's some things that make sense, you know? I feel like sometimes you do have to look behind what they're actually showing you because life isn't always black and white.
Thinking. Conspiracies and superstitions are comforting because they give simple answers to complicated problems. Instead of digging for facts, people accept the first explanation that feels exciting.
Damn, why his eyes yellow? Why is his eyes yellow? Bro, this man liver is failing him, bro. He needs to be in the hospital.
Or dramatic. This is called a mental shortcut. The brain is lazy, so it prefers easy stories over messy truths.
Mm,
Smarter minds question and
that's deep. That's deep. That's deep though. That's deep.
double check before believing. Lower intelligence tends to say, well, I saw it online, so it must be true. The problem is that superstition and conspiracy thinking
Bro, get this man to the doctor, bro. Get him from over your shoulder right now, bro. Send him off.
stop people from solving real issues. Rigid thinking. Some people treat their routines and beliefs like stone tablets that can never be changed. If something new comes along, whether it's a better way to work, a new piece of technology, or even just a different opinion, they shut it down instantly.
I get what they're saying, but sometimes rigid thinking isn't always about intelligence, but just off of how someone is raised, you know? But being closed-minded and not being able to soak up new information and take that, that could be a sign of low IQ. That could.
Smart people can adapt. They ask questions, try things out, and adjust when the facts change. But
Mm.
rigid thinkers cling to the old way just because it's familiar, always seeking instant gratification. Some people just can't wait. If they want a snack, they grab junk food instead of cooking.
Uh,
If they want something new, they buy it on credit instead of saving.
uh.
If work feels boring, they drop it for a quick scroll on their phone. This constant need for instant rewards is a classic sign of low intelligence. Smarter minds are better at delaying gratification. They can push through discomfort now to get something better later. But
Mm.
lower intelligence
Ooh, hold on.
comfort now to get something better later.
Sleeper
But
build.
lower intelligence
Oh, hold on.
better later.
Whoa. Why you just flex on me like that? Bro, really, that's really the definition of sleeper build right there.
But lower intelligence struggles with patience and long-term planning. Poor listening habits. We've all talked to someone who never really listens. They interrupt, talk over you, or nod while clearly waiting for their turn to speak. This isn't just bad manners, it can be a sign of low intelligence.
I kind of agree with this, but I want to hear the why behind it.
Listening is more than hearing words, it's about processing ideas and understanding perspectives. Smarter people know they can learn something new from almost anyone, so they pay attention. But lower intelligence often shows up as impatience, or the assumption that they already know everything worth saying. There is a link between poor listening and weak comprehension skills.
That's just not being able. That's not being able to know how to listen. You dumbass dude. Like, shut up, man. Shut up and listen to me real quick. You know.
Proving your brain isn't keeping up. Listening is one of the simplest ways to grow, and refusing to do it shows you're not interested in growth at all. Missing new ideas
That one is kind of true. That's true right there. That's true. That's true.
instantly. You probably know someone who says, "That's dumb," or "That'll never work," the moment they hear something new. They don't ask questions, they don't think it over, they just shut it down. This knee-jerk reaction is often a sign of low intelligence. Smarter people keep an open mind. They may not accept every idea, but they at least consider the possibilities before deciding. Excessive TV and doom scrolling. There's nothing wrong with relaxing and watching a show or checking your feed, but when hours slip away every single day, it can be a sign of low intelligence. Smart people usually balance entertainment with learning, creating, or problem solving. Lower intelligence often shows up as endless passive consumption, letting the brain rot instead of using it. Science warns
Damn, we're cooked. We are cooked. Like, nowadays, everyone's either on Instagram or TikTok, just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling away. We have a lot more watchers than we have creators.
that constant scrolling trains your mind to crave short bursts of dopamine, making it harder to focus on deeper tasks, blindly following trends. Think about that one friend who changes their whole personality every time a new trend comes along. One month, they're wearing Nike
Damn.
because TikTok said so. The next, they're suddenly obsessed with Adidas. And last week, they were filming themselves dancing in a grocery store for no reason. They never stop to ask if they actually like these things. They just copy what everyone else is doing. Lower intelligence thrives on going with the herd. It's called the herd mentality, following others to feel safe. If your entire identity changes,
Bro, most of this video was kind of based off herd mentality. So he's calling everyone that's followers. Basically, he's saying if you're a follower, you have low IQ. He's saying be who you think you are, be who you're supposed to be. He's saying be your authentic self, basically. People who are authentic, people who are authentic show signs of higher IQ. That's what I'm getting from this video, honestly.
is with whatever's trending, try to change it. Bro on the game. We've all got that one friend who's always on the game, but somehow still terrible at it. He's online every night, headset on, but when the match starts, he misses every shot, forgets the objectives, and blames lag for everything. Spending hours playing doesn't make you skilled. It just shows how little you're actually learning. If the game keeps teaching you lessons and you keep ignoring them, that's not dedication. It's proof your friend's got a monkey brain.
A monkey brain is crazy. That is crazy. Yeah, the internet be doing the most. But I'm not even gonna lie, I've done some of these things. Tell me which ones have y'all done and which ones do you agree with?